can changing our perspective can influence the impact of event in our life?
The truth is, according to our Brhamanda Yoga, the way we see the world, the way we see the events in our life is totally a matter of my perspective. And if I change my perspective about everything that's happening around my life, will totally change the outcomes of all events. And to change your perspective is not an easy job. It's easier said than done. But it's made easier by the practices of Brhamanda Yoga, which I plan to bring slowly to all of you in the coming times. I'll give you an example how changing a perspective with the help of guidance and tools can influence things in our life. I'll give you a story of a young rich man. And he was very wealthy, a millionaire. But he had some kind of a disease that he always had constant pain in his eyes. And it was very painful and it was very bothersome. He could not go through a day without that pain, without that bother. Since he was rich, he tried different doctors, different specialists. They did tests. They gave him medications, injections, but nothing worked. Eventually, one day, he met a monk. And the monk said, "What is your problem?" And he said, "This is my problem, that I have this pain and I've tried everything. And my pain is not going away. Do you have a solution for me?" And the monk said, "Yes. I will ask you to do something for 2 weeks. What you have to do is follow one simple rule that I'll give you. And if you follow it for 2 weeks, your pain will go away." And this rich man said, "Okay, I'm willing to try anything. What do I have to do?" So the monk said, "For 2 weeks, you have to make the surroundings around you in a way that the only color that you see is green. That you see only green color for the next 2 weeks and no other color. And if you're able to do that successfully, your pain will be gone." And the millionaire said, "I'm going to try it." He came home. The first thing he did was ordered a lot of workers, contractors, who came in with gallons of green paint. And they painted everything around him green, the walls, the objects in the house. So the only thing that he can see is green. And then his 2 weeks started, and all he was doing was seeing green. But all his people, his employees, they knew that he is doing this all in the instructions of this monk. And they knew this monk. Almost close to the end of 2 weeks, this monk was walking past the house, this big mansion of a house of this rich man. And he remembered, said, "Let me go and check upon him. How is he doing?" So as he tried to get into the house, the employees of this rich man, who had been instructed, says, "What are you here for?" Says, "I want to see, your master." He says, "Okay, but hold on. You cannot go like this. You're wearing orange clothes." They brought 2 buckets of green paint and poured all over him. And this monk became all green. His saffron clothes, his orange clothes turned into green, and his face turned into green. And then he remembered instructions. And he laughed out loud. And he went inside to meet this man. He said, "You spent so much money to paint everything green. And still there could be some mistake. Somebody can bring a color of an object of a different color and interrupt this practice that you're doing. All you had to do was spend maybe $5 and buy a green pair of eyeglasses. So you would see everything green and you would not need to spend so much money to see everything green." This is changing the perspective, looking at things in a different manner. And this can change the events in our life just in this manner. How I perceive things in my life, what I do in my life will totally change. And as I said, it's not easy to do that. And if you want to know more, I welcome you all. Come and join the practices of Brhamanda Yoga. I'm more than happy to help everybody. In the last few decades, I've helped so many people to just do this. By the practices of Brhamanda Yoga, your perspective on how you look at things start changing. And when I see things in a different light, my response to the events will be different. My solution, my approach to address those events, those changes in my life will be different. And obviously, the outcomes will be different. And I'll be more successful, I'll be more happier, and I'll be more peaceful.